Oh, good morning. Yeah, I'm glad to be alive. Don't think I forgot that, even though we're not doing it in the formal way where they're chanting the invocation and asking everybody to recognize the essence of yoga within themselves. Nonetheless, so first of all, I hope that the practices we're doing give you coping skills for working with frustration, rejection. Yeah, we reject the way things are, right? Like I always said, in the Buddhist terminology, they say there's suffering in old age, sickness, and death just for openers. But I always say, really, how about the suffering that comes from wishing reality were not the way it is? Yeah, so that's kind of rejection. Like we wish it was not the way it is, but it is, yeah. And then there's the pressure, whether it's the pressure of being cooped up, financial pressure, pressure of like being with your loved ones for more than 7 days or something like that. You start going nuts. Then there's also complacency. You get idle, just stay in front of the boob tube instead of using this time for extra study, practice, and consolidating whatever you need to in this section of your life, this season of your life. And then ultimately, of course, how do you overcome or work with those things and still learn to give more than you take? And that's one of the mottos I've taken from John Wesley, right? I want to do as much good as I can to as many people as I can for as long as I can. And since I've said before, asana gives you a certain kind of health and resilience, pranayama gives you longevity. So keep practicing these breath works. Now, one of the things I've gotten from the Iyengars, which I think is fantastic, is his idea of nobody knows where the body ends and the mind begins, and nobody knows where the mind ends and the soul begins. And that's a really interesting word that we can try to define. And what's the relationship between soul and spirit? What is the relationship between that electromagnetic thing that connects us from the world of things to the world of no things? And that's where spirit is. And spirit is that which enlivens and exalts and animates. And without spirit, nothing, it would just be dead matter, no life, no consciousness. And somehow soul is the intermediary that connects you from that world to the visible world of flesh and blood. So they have these three ideas of how you approach your yoga practice called Bahiranga Sadhana, the outward practice, Antaranga Sadhana, the inner practice, and Antaratma Sadhana, the practice to experience soul. And so sometimes they divide those things up in a number of different ways, one of which is like looking at Kriya Yoga. The definition is tapas, svadhyaya, and ishvara pranidhan. So there's the action-oriented part of the path, which is tapas, and that's the one that's usually an outward practice. You're concerned more about evolving the postures. But then when you get to pranayama and you start going more inward, and especially with pratyahara, where you're turning the senses away from the outer world to experience what's happening in the inner world, then that kind of study is much more of an inner practice. And there's the antaranga. But the whole purpose of both of those two together is when they merge is you're trying to discover what is the source of your own self. That's the greatest suffering as well, to be divorced from the source of your own existence, not know who you are at a deep soul level. We call it being a lost soul. So I like to think that the practices are all three happening at the same time, but we're not losing sight of the end, which is to experience what soul is, or what is the essence of our own existence. You can call it self with a capital S, like Jung did, and equate that to Atman, the point of light within yourself. All the designations fall away. As Joseph Campbell said, all choices of words or concepts are mistakes. So the next best thing you can do, if you're not going to be silent and not argue about it, is you're going to basically symbolize things. And as I've always said, symbols are adult toys, and we're going to play with them like the way kids played with their toys. All right, so today we're up to Chandra Bhedana, piercing the moon channel. This is left nostril inhale, right nostril exhale. And then we're going to add Uddiyana Bandha, which has been the theme for this whole week. External retention and pulling the lock. That means from the belly all the way up to the top of the diaphragm, pulling back and up, back and up. As soon as you do that, there'll be a lift. And this is, again, part of the yoga esotericism. We're merging, blending, mixing prana and apana. The force that goes down and the force that goes up, you mix them together, and it creates a certain kind of heat in the body, and it raises your energy or awareness, and that's called the kundalini. So we're going to see how that works today. The first 3 rounds are going to be open nostril, inhale left, exhale right, with no break, no restorative breaths between. It'll just be 3 continuous cycles. And remember, for the new people out there, just continue doing inhale left, exhale right. You'll have a chance to do 10 or 12 rounds of this. Then the second round will be partially closed left nostril, inhale, open right nostril, exhale, retain the breath out, and squeeze Uddiyana Bandha. We'll do that twice. The third round will be open left nostril, inhale, partially closed right nostril, exhale, hold the breath out by a kumbhaka, and then Uddiyana Bandha. Always dropping the bandha, letting it go before you do the next restorative inhale. And then the fourth and final cycle, we'll do, fourth round, do 2 cycles of partially closed left nostril, inhale, partially closed right nostril, exhale, hold the breath out, Uddiyana Bandha, do that twice. Let's see where we are. All right, so take your seat, take your stance, close the eyes. Even if we don't chant Om or any of the invocations, this is a moment of just silence and aligning yourself with your own inner allies. If there are things within yourself that's like the Buddha nature, the different qualities of human excellence that we all have within ourselves, I like to say that spirit instills a certain greatness in every person. Each one has a gift to contribute. So you just humbly settle into that. You let it sit right beside your flaws and vices. You know, trying to pretend that you're free from that, but at the same time, you don't try to deny that you don't have wonderful things inside you. Or if you have any kind of cross planes of alliance, if you have any medicine animals, if the animal envoys have come to you, if you have a spirit guide, if you've connected to people who are no longer in the body and various beings in other dimensions, whether they're real to you or whether they're just active imagination like Carl Jung did, it doesn't matter. If you think so, then it is. Especially if they're there to support you, guide you, protect you, counsel you. And then from there, exhale your breath. Remember, drop the eyeballs down and sideways. Raise the hand. Block right, open left, inhale. Block left, open right, exhale. Right away, notice which nostril feels more open, which nostril feels more blocked. Block right, open left, inhale. Block left, open right, exhale. Block right, open left, inhale. Block left, open right, exhale. Drop the hand and do restorative breathing. So when we do the digital control, you want to manipulate your fingers delicately enough to change the direction, volume, speed, sound of the breath. And if you're working towards samavritti, so you're making the same, notice that. If you can't, then you're doing visamvritti. It's uneven ratios. That's fine too. But use your fingers to widen or close the nostrils as is necessary, because remember, everybody has different sized nostril holes. You might have a deviated septum, you might have broken your nose, you might have sinus problems, whatever. A lot of reasons why the breath doesn't come in evenly. So part of your job is not just to, in a gross way, manipulate inhale and exhale by opening or closing the aperture, but to find out to the best of your ability, how can I make them similar? Equanimity. All right, second round, partially closed left, open right. Exhale your breath. Raise the hand, block right, partially closed left, inhale. Block left, open right, exhale. Drop the hand, hold the breath out, pull Uddiyana Bandha. Let the lock go, restorative breathing. Second cycle, round 2. Raise the hand, block right, partially closed left, inhale. Block left, open right, exhale. Drop the hand, hold the breath out, Kumbhaka. Now pull Uddiyana Bandha. Release the lock, restorative breath. Now I'm only doing 2 Uddiyana Bandhas for each of these cycles instead of 3 or more. I'm only holding about 6 to 8 seconds, so you can increase your capacity. If you're playing with the big boys like Mr. Angar, he says 10 to 15 seconds hold, and he's not giving you restorative breaths in between the two. That's very advanced. I don't recommend it at the beginning. Third cycle, open left, partially closed right with Uddiyana Bandha. Exhale the breath, raise the hand. Block right, open left, inhale. Now block left, partially close the right, exhale. Relax the hand, Kumbhaka, hold the breath out, and pull Uddiyana Bandha. Release the lock, restorative breath. Notice the quality of the restorative breath. If it doesn't come in smooth, you have to adjust how you did the breath and how you did the hold. Second cycle, third round. Exhale the breath. Block right, open left, inhale. Block left, partially close the right, exhale. Drop the hand, hold the breath out, pull Uddiyana Bandha. Relax the Bandha and restorative breath. Fourth round, first cycle. It's simply going to be partially closed nostrils left, inhale, partially closed nostril right, exhale. Pinch the nostrils closed, hold the breath out, pull Uddiyana Bandha. Let's do it twice. Exhale your breath. Tuck the chin, raise the hand. Block right, partially closed left, inhale. Block left, partially closed right, exhale. Block both nostrils, hold the breath, Uddiyana Bandha. Release the hand, release the lock, restorative breath. All right, one more. Restorative breath, diaphragmatic breath. New cycle about to begin. Raise the hand, block right, partially closed left, inhale. Block the left, partially close the right, exhale. Pinch the nostrils closed, hold the breath, Uddiyana Bandha. Release the hand, release the lock, restorative breath. Gently raise the head, open the eyes. Chandra Bhedana with Kumbhaka and Uddiyana Bandha. Cools the nervous system. Cools the nervous system. So while you're handling frustration, rejection, complacency, and learning how to give, you can be mellow about it. Huh? All right? So that's it for today. We'll pick up tomorrow with Surya Bhedana.